Hey folks, welcome to Tim's Offgrid. Wanted to do an update today to talk about the electrical distribution in the tiny house. So I've got two of the fold-out panels that are 200 watts each. I got this one that's like 125. I just have it laid out. I don't have, I need to lay it on a sawhorse or something. You've got the 250 watt panel that's up on the roof of the tiny house. It is a bifacial, but I'm not taking advantage of that because it would need to be a little bit higher off the roof, and I need to have a reflective surface on the bottom of the roof to take advantage of its bifacial capabilities. This is the other 200 watt panel. But it not taking advantage of the bifacial does not take away from its 250 watt capability. The bonus of the bifacial, that's what goes up above 250 watts. So this would be the main incoming shore power. I'm just using it right now as the outlet to power this mini split. So this powers the condenser. Out of the condenser then has the power for the air handler. And then this right here is just another 20 amp outlet that I would use to plug things into out here. Now we're going to go inside and then I'll break down the electrical distribution on the inside. All right, so right now we're charging the batteries at 31 amps. We're only running 40 watts off the inverter at 13.3 volts. Obviously, we're not making any solar because there's no wind. I've got the mini split set on 68 and it's humming along. Strangely enough, this was a terrible thought on my part, and please don't annihilate me too much. I did put the electrical box under here just because I didn't want to see it anywhere. So it has a 30 amp main incoming, and then a 15 amp convenience, and then a 20 amp convenience. So the 20 amp is behind the microwave and it's outside. So let me break down this bench arrangement and I'll show you the off-grid electrical distribution underneath this bench. All right, so this is with the table lifted up and moved to the side. What I had did for the table was 3/4 plywood glued underneath like liquid nails, and then you could buy these top and bottom mounts with posts. So next I will move this bench out of the way and go through the electrical distribution for the off-grid system. All right, not a perfect setup under here, and there'll be a little bit of shavings and things under here. The first thing that you're going to see, this is the pipe that's coming from the diesel heater. I do need to create a little bit more space. I don't want it resting on top of the inverter. It's okay right now because it's summertime. We're not going to be using it, but ideally this needs to come up. And I've got it routed here in the back, so there's no way that it's going to put any heat on the batteries. These are 6 all-wire gauge for each one of the batteries. Each one of these is 100 amp hour. These first three are the same exact battery. This other one is a different battery. They're all 100 amp hour. They all have battery monitoring systems associated with them. And they, for sure, all three of these have all the same settings. That one likely has all the same settings because it is a 12 volt lithium iron phosphate, etc. This is the 3000 watt inverter. So you want to do pure sine wave inverter when you do a setup like this, especially if you're going to run anything sensitive, like a mini split that has an inverter-driven compressor on top of that. This inverter has 2 outlets. It also has a USB outlet, and it has a remote over here for its gauge that's on the wall. It also has an on-off over here. Right now, I'm using the closest receptacle to backfeed it. So that's how we're distributing and then backfeeding throughout the tiny house. I have positive and negative buses down here. So positive and negative bus for the batteries, positive and negative buses for the DC distribution to the loads, and there are different fuses under here, etc. So this is how everything is laid out. I am using an app to connect to these batteries to make sure they're all floating the same, etc. And it's called Overkill Solar is the name of the app that I'm using. It's pretty good app with a lot of settings. With the Renogy, I'm using their Bluetooth so I can communicate with the charge controller. Then up here on the wall, number 6 to everything up here, etc. And Renogy's charge controller over here will just rotate through this just a little bit so it's up and down. So we're 14.6 volts. We got 13.5 on the batteries. So 14.6 is what we want from the solar panels. 13.5 going to, or is what the battery voltage is right now. No errors. 19 degrees Celsius. There's a sensor down there. And we've already done 9,432 amp hours. And I'm not using the load output. You don't want to use a load output on this. It's for small loads. You want the loads to come off your bus down there. All right, again, we run about 30 amps all day long. Right now, we've come up to about 240 watts. So the Della is making cold air again. So it's cycling the condenser outside. All right, and then there is a comment in one of the videos. We have only made 228 watt hours, not even 1 kilowatt hour yet with a wind turbine. So again, spend more money on more batteries and more panels. Don't waste your money on this wind. I'm hoping to get some better results when we go out to West Virginia. Now look, we're already up to 330, and this is with the current limits applied also on the battery. So one last view here of the setup that's underneath here. Everything is cramped. If I had more space, I would lay this out way, way better. I do want to come in here and put disconnects for the batteries, etc. So I'm going to work on some of that as I have more time. But did want to show how everything's laid out. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I can talk to you about how everything's working out. Right now, the two loads that we have running steady state. The lighting in here is running a lot, as well as the air handler and the refrigerator, and the tiny house is self-healing overnight, or I mean during the daytime, as we're making enough amperage to keep the batteries charged. And it's just running off grid 100% of the time right now. As you notice outside, shore power is not connected. This is 100% off grid. All right, appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. See y'all.